Former Vice President Mike Pence may have to take another oath, this time swearing to tell the truth to a grand jury. A federal judge ruled Monday that Pence will have to testify about Donald Trump's efforts to overturn the 2020 election. The judge rejected arguments that Pence's role as president of the Senate on January 6th grants him constitutional protections. Here's CBS News chief campaign and election correspondent Robert Costa.
A major ruling with potentially historic consequences. Sources say former Vice President Mike Pence has been ordered to provide testimony to special counsel Jack Smith's grand jury about any illegal acts committed by former President Trump, and that private exchanges between Trump and Pence are not off limits. Prosecutors are focused on conversations the two men had in the days before and on January 6th.
It's hard to imagine a more important witness than the vice president himself telling a grand jury and potentially a jury, if there were an indictment, about what the president was doing on January 6th. What did he say? What were the plans that he communicated to the vice president or to others in the presence of the vice president?
Trump's lawyers had tried to block Pence from testifying. Pence, too, had argued he shouldn't have to testify because of his constitutional role in the legislative branch.
The notion of compelling a former vice president to appear in court to testify against the president with whom they served is unprecedented, but I also believe it's unconstitutional.
Sources close to the investigation also say the special counsel could be building a conspiracy case against Trump and his allies, with a focus on a possible plan to obstruct an official congressional proceeding.
And Robert Costa joins me now. Bob, why does Pence matter in particular in this investigation?
Because, John, he had these one-on-one conversations with then-President Trump, especially on the eve of the insurrection, January 5th, 2021, in the Oval Office, where the president pressured Pence to essentially overturn the election, to use his power as the person overseeing the proceedings on January 6th.
And do we think Pence will appeal this ruling?
Pence's lawyers are deliberating about how exactly they're going to proceed. Pence's lawyers, Emmett Flood, a veteran attorney in Washington, and they have been citing this speech or debate clause from the Constitution. Pence has said he would be willing to fight it all the way to the Supreme Court, unresolved about whether they will do exactly that.
And then, Bob, put this testimony in the context, the larger context of the probe into the effort to overthrow the election. How will this affect that probe, given what we know about the other people who've been compelled to testify and who have testified willingly?
CBS News has learned, John, that many of the witnesses that have gone into the special counsel's grand jury on January 6th in recent weeks have been asked about the pressure campaign on Pence, but also efforts to obstruct a congressional proceeding, to block what was happening. That would be a federal crime. You cannot obstruct a congressional proceeding with the intent of doing so. It is our belief, based in conversations with people familiar with witnesses, that the special counsel could be building some kind of conspiracy case on that front.
All right, Robert Costa, thanks so much.
Thank you.